Then we had our 60-minute spoof, WWE Investigates, hosted by Byron Saxton with Johnny Gargano. So he gives us the... First of all, I was like hoping that this was going to be... There's a lot you can work with here to make it fun. So Gargano says that Dexter Lumis is trying to earn a living just like everyone else, and that Dexter married into his family, but then he lost his job and fell on hard times. Yes, this company fired him and he fell on hard times. That part was not contextualized here. And Miz took advantage of this. And Gargano says that when he came back in Toronto, he overheard Lumis speaking with the Miz. So naturally, Gargano recorded this. So this Gargano clearly relying on his Wrestling with Shadows form of just record everything. And in Canada, you can get away with recording somebody without their knowledge. So he overhears Miz, who is paying Dexter Lumis for these staged attacks with Gargano's theory that Miz is a celebrity. He's trying to garner attention. He's an influencer. So he orchestrated all of this, including losing to Bobby Lashley in a steel cage match. Then when he said, well, what about when he beat the hell out of Dexter with a chair? And Gargano says, well, the deal must have fallen apart along the way. I didn't know what this was, but this payoff I thought was just so lame.
I think it was their way of trying to retcon a reason for all of these attacks happening. It just, and for that I kind of give them credit, because I think in the past in wrestling angles they would have just dropped it without really any sort of like real explanation. But here I think they at least tried to ask all the questions, with Byron saying, well, what about this? If they were in cahoots, what happened here?
So why did the Miz and Maurice leave their home and hire Dexter to break into their home?
Because the reason Gargano thinks is because he really likes having a celebrity stalker. It increases.
But then, are we
profile.
to acknowledge that there was a camera crew filming him breaking into this home? That's how we saw it.
I mean,
that's the only way we saw this. That Miz would concoct such a plan, that we would see this.
The camera crew was there to interview the Miz.
So nobody reported this. The camera crew, were they in on this?
Well,
they're witnessing a break-in with children in the home.
You have to realize the law works very differently here in the WWE. You know.
Okay.
You kind of take your matters into your own hands in the WWE.
Are these like just union guys? They're like, hey, this is off. We're off the clock. Whatever happens to these kids. I mean, it's.
Well,
this guy's
I don't
crazy.
know.
This
I'm
guy
not
Dexter
sure about
Lumis.
Anyway,
this to me was way too. We've watched this for like 2-3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
This guy torturing this guy, and now the dark secret was Miz staged this. Ooh, what a harmful secret that is now out. This is what was going to get him canceled, that Gargano threatened. This is what Miz is going to sue over, that he. Who cares? Who would be the injured party in all of this? Who would be like upset with the Miz? Like, did he work Maurice this whole time about this? Like, what? Who is even the victim in all of this? Like,
okay, yeah, it could be that. Listen, I'm pretty confident in saying that this was not what they had planned when this all began. And
well, maybe they should have had an end point when they start a story. This is what we're working towards. This is the end goal.
I mean, I think this is what you get when you bring back the guy who kidnaps people. His one function is to kidnap, and you can't really do much more with him, with Dexter Lumis, than that. So,
but now the story is he's broke because this company fired him, and he doesn't have a job here anymore. So if anything, it's the company that are the heels in this thing. They've ruined this man's life, and now they are profiting off of him on their television every week, and they don't pay him.
Right. Well, he wasn't that good at his job, so he was let go for that reason.
Okay, but he's back. But he's only back at the Miz's expense.
Sure. Yeah, the Miz brought him back.
So this is like MJF and Wardlow. So Wardlow's not where Wardlow was under contract to MJF. And Dexter Lumis is being paid by the Miz. WWE doesn't want to hire him, apparently.
Yeah, he doesn't work here. He's not. That's why they dragged him away. He's not supposed to be here.
Right. Okay.
It all makes sense. Foolproof.
So they set up that match where if the Miz lost, this guy would get a contract.
Well, then, yeah, he will have earned his right. I mean, remember, Road Dogg made the match. He probably didn't have jurisdiction, but he said it on air, and I'm guessing they're like, "Oh, we got to deliver what we promised to the audience." So now he can earn his job.
Okay. I think this has added a lot of complications to a program I was not enjoying in the least to begin with. But
I guess we also don't even know if this is the real answer. This is just Johnny Gargano's side of things, right? You know, we did get that recording from the Miz. Okay, so
that was pretty.
Is that damning evidence, or is there?
How close do you think he got with his phone? I mean, this is like this almost felt like in most states this would be Gargano incriminating himself.
Right. Well, we don't know the circumstance. You know, he could have just been in the locker room, in the bathroom, like taking a dump, and then just heard this conversation. He has every right to record himself taking
this
a dump.
This guy's just like secretly recording people in the back. That didn't work out well for Sean Stasiak.
Yeah, nor Max Payne. But this was for good reason.
That documentary.
This was for good reason.
It was for a terrible reason at the end. He sat on the. Think about Johnny Gargano. What a shitty friend he was. He sat on that recording for 2 months.
Well, they were both hoping the Miz would, you know, they were giving him a chance to explain it himself. Right.
All these weeks.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Toronto was August. It's it's November now. Gargano just sat on this recording. He knew from the very beginning that this was bullshit, and he's just let this play out this whole time.
Well, I would assume he told Dexter shortly after, "Hey, buddy, I recorded Miz saying that. So if you ever need this, let me know." And Dexter was probably just like, "Don't tell the world yet, Johnny. We'll try to get him to say it." And then he didn't say it. So thus you have this.
This is a horrible plan that Gargano and Lumis hatched. It's a really terrible plan.
So here's the thing. I'm just wondering what this. Do you have an actual story
I have
question?
so many questions about this as we go deeper.
Yeah,
I didn't want to spend 5 seconds on this.
We should spend the whole show on this. Yeah.
So Miz annihilates Dexter Lumis. Okay.
Yeah.
So the plan has fallen apart now. So now Lumis has fallen out of favor with the Miz. So he's not even being paid by the Miz. He's also not being paid by WWE. So now he's in debt by showing up at all these shows all over the country to continue this.
He might be hitching a ride with Johnny Gargano and Candice.
I doubt it, because they don't seem like they've had his back throughout any of this. I bet you he's, holding his thumb out on the highway to try and get to Dallas on Halloween. This is his night, and he spent it here at Raw for free.
Well, listen, revenge will make a man do crazy things, So it all makes sense. It's a great story, and we'll see. We'll see what the match that I think it'll lead to. I think will be tremendous.
Is this going to be do you see another follow-up of WWE Investigates in the future?
You know what? They should. And they should give it to us from Miz's perspective.
Yeah. I would like to see AEW Investigates.
About CM Punk? The Elite?
Anything.
I mean, really, if this was a series on the network, on Peacock, there are plenty of stories.
WWE Investigates. I would love WWE to investigate themselves into all of their historical woes. I'm sure the findings would be very curious.
That would be interesting.